Welcome back to another Spirit Island video. In this video, we're going to be continuing our series of Is This Spirit for You? In this video, we'll be talking about Grinning Trickster Stirs Up Trouble. The setup is going to be two presents on your starting board, one in the highest number land with Dahan, and one in land number 4. Playstyle is, it requires some comfort with risk, both using Arson as well as Let's See What Happens, that's your left innate, involve uncertainty about how the fast powers phase will pan out. It can be effective from the get-go, benefits greatly from not working too hard, instead improving its capacity for mischief by adding presence and gaining power cards. Bonus energy from Let's See What Happens can be extremely helpful in avoiding the distraction of gaining energy elsewhere. It is a moderate complex spirit, high offense, a decent amount of control, less fear, high amount of defense, a little bit of utility, and it is a strife and beast user. I think this is pretty accurate. Maybe the offense might be a little bit higher, but in the defense a little bit lower. But overall, I really like the summary powers here. Flipping over the spirit board, we have two special rules. The first one is, it says whenever your powers add strife in a land, you may pay 1 energy to add a strife within 1 range of that land. This allows you to spread your chaos, spread your strife as you're putting strife down with your impersonate authority, your right innate, or cards that you pick up. And then this bottom part says this other special rule: whenever you remove blight that's not caused by your innate power, you have to destroy a presence. And this is just an on-theme negative effect. This is another pick 2 spirit where we have 4 growth options. We have a presence placement, an energy boon, a power card gain, and then a reclaim with a penalty that also moves a presence. Looking at the tracks here, we end at 3-5. Remember, 5 plays, that's extremely high, but because we have this gaining energy equal to the number of card plays, this top part of the top track just doesn't matter. Pretty much everything over here just completely irrelevant because you can always choose G4, which will generate 3-4 energy plus your 1 to 2 energy up here. So you're pretty much flush with energy. You have 3 elements on track with an any as well, so that's 4 total. An ability to move to Han every turn with your just from your special track ability. As I just mentioned, the any, fire, and 3 energy never really matters, and that's because your G4 is just so powerful. I do see the moon taken sometimes, and same with this 2 energy. I've also seen extremely greedy builds that go straight bottom track. There's major power builds, there's minor power builds with Trickster. Spirit is very flexible. Let's look at the innates. The left innate says, let's see what happens. It says discard minor powers from the deck until you get one that targets a land. Then it says use its text effects on target land immediately, ignoring normal range and targeting restrictions. All up to instructions must be used at max value. Treat all ors as ands. And then this bottom part here says you may forget a power card. If you do, you can gain the card that you saw up here, as well as gaining an energy. So both this part of Let's See What Happens and this part are very useful. It's essentially a free power card play. And if that power card hits correctly, you can generate a lot of tempo. A good example would be like, let's say I explored here on C4 and it's building on C4. If I let's see what happens in C4, if I get like beast damage, unfortunately this would do nothing. But if I ended up getting like an effect that would deal damage here, I might be able to stop that build, and that could be a way for me to get pretty far ahead. Looking at that right innate, it's a fast power, 0 range targeting land with invaders. It may be able to be made slow. You can add strife. You can have a Dahan / invader fight each other, and then you have, if you have beasts, you can do 2 damage in that land, or you may gather a beast. A lot of times, these 2 tiers are what I see it's used for, though this middle tier sometimes matters as well. Looking at our uniques, we have Impersonate Authority. It's a 0 range sun, air, animal, 1 range, and it adds a strife. And once again, that combos with our special rule. So if we add a strife, we could pay an energy to add another strife. Arson, it's a 1 energy fast, fire, air, 1 range, destroys a town in the fast phase. Super important. Then you flip a minor power. If that minor power has fire, you add a fear. do 2 damage, and also add a blight. So this is one of those cards that, if you like gambling, you can gamble on some lands. So like maybe Mountain Explored, and you can play it on here, killing the town, hoping for fire such that you can completely disrupt that build. It's a fast town kill for 1 energy, which is extremely powerful. I know there's that chance of flipping Blight, but this card enables so many pocket strategies. Incite the Bob, it's a 1 energy slow, Moonfire Air animal, 1 range, 1 invader with strife deals damage to other invaders, 1 fear per invader this power would destroy. And as you can imagine, these 2 cards combo quite well. Add a strife in the slow, then that strifed invader kills stuff in the land. So imagine if you had a city, town explorer, you strife the city, and now that city kills the town explorer, and you just dealt with a really built up land for the price of 1 energy. So as you can see, Trickster has some very powerful combos that it can use. And finally, Unexpected Tigers, 0 energy, Moonfire animal, 1 range, low power, 1 fear if invaders are present. If you can gather a beast, do so, then push 1 explorer. Otherwise, add a beast. So this is a way for you to have some control, some explorer disruption, the possibility of adding beasts. It combos very nicely with this right innate here. Okay, so is this spirit for you? So Trickster is all about chaos. I mean, it makes sense given what it says here on the playstyle. You have that left innate, which is completely random. You have arson, which is completely random. So you have to utilize these random effects and confine them and try to shape the chaos in your favor. It is a fast tempo spirit with a lot of offensive and control capabilities. So a lot of times you want to create the pockets such that once you start creating pockets, you'll have less and less explorers, and then you can kind of dedicate actions to other boards. There are major builds, like I mentioned. There's also minor builds. Really, the spirit can do anything you want. It is a pick 2 spirit, so because of that, it's always able to reclaim and place presence. The spirit is just very flexible. So some of the things that you may not like about the spirit is the randomness. Um, these are factors that are built into the kit that you have to use, and sometimes they just go terribly wrong, and it can really mess up your plans. So planning around that is pretty important. Or I shouldn't say planning, but just expecting random effects to negatively impact you. Just you have to be prepared for that. Another thing that you always have to be factoring in with the spirit is stricken. And stricken is the event that says that invaders with strife do not ravage its turn. If I could find it here, here we go. There's a stricken. There's only 3 stricken in the entire deck. So there's 61 cards. So it's 3 and 61. And this really hurts because a lot of times you're strifing invaders. You're moving to Han in those lands to have them counterattack. And like I said, you're a tempo spirit. So whenever these cards come up, you just get really screwed because those lands don't ravage, and then the buildings will stay on your board. Now, on the other hand, you could also plan for a stricken. Sometimes you have bonus strife, so you can just throw a random strife out there into a land. You know that's ravaging, and then you're crossing your fingers for stricken. This is a spirit that I don't like playing, but there's a couple players in my play group that absolutely love the spirit. Really, it's hit or miss. Um, like I said, it all comes down to, do you like the chaos? If you do, you're going to love the spirit. If you like this video, like, subscribe for more content. I will see you guys in the next video.